Have you ever wondered why the most corrupt, incompetent, and foolish people always seem to rise to the top, while the ones with wisdom, empathy, and intelligence get ignored, silenced, or crushed? Look around you. In politics, business, even in your workplace, you've seen it. Those who lie, manipulate, and deceive often end up in positions of power. Meanwhile, the honest, the thoughtful, the kind-hearted are pushed aside, ridiculed, or left behind. And here's the uncomfortable truth. This isn't an accident. It's not a glitch in the system. It is the system. Today, I want to show you why the world seems designed to reward fools, narcissists, and liars, and why the wisest among us often struggle just to survive. This is a truth that philosophers from Plato to Nietzsche, from Machiavelli to Bonhoeffer, all wrestled with. And once you see it clearly, you'll never look at power, society, or even yourself the same way again. The first shock: you've been lied to about merit. Since childhood, you've been told a comforting story. Work hard, be kind, play fair, and you'll be rewarded. But look closely. Is that really how the world works? If merit were the key to power, then history would be full of philosopher kings, wise sages, and selfless leaders. Instead, history is a graveyard of empires brought down by arrogance, greed, and stupidity. Rome didn't collapse because its wisest voices were silenced. It collapsed because its worst voices were obeyed. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, a German theologian who resisted the Nazis, wrote that stupidity is a more dangerous enemy of the good than malice. Why? Because a malicious person at least knows what they're doing. A stupid person believes they are righteous, and so their ignorance spreads like wildfire. And the tragic irony is that these are the people systems of power often elevate. Why power rewards fools? Think about it. Intelligence questions. Intelligence doubts. Intelligence asks, is this just? Is this true? But power does not want doubt. Power wants obedience. Power rewards those who play the game, not those who question the rules. Machiavelli warned us centuries ago. The prince who lies, manipulates, and deceives will almost always defeat the honest ruler. Why? Because honesty exposes you to betrayal, but deception shields you from it. In modern times, we still see this play out. The charming liar gets promoted. The loudmouth becomes the boss. The politician who tells you what you want to hear wins the vote. And the one who dares to speak the truth? They're labeled naive, radical, or dangerous. Power is not a reward for virtue. It's a prize for playing dirty. The Dunning-Kruger world. Psychologists call it the Dunning-Kruger effect. The less someone knows, the more confident they are in their knowledge. Look at social media. The loudest voices are often the least informed. Confidence, not competence, creates influence. And this is not just annoying, it's dangerous. Because when societies start mistaking confidence for wisdom, they begin following the loudest fools straight into disaster.
Nietzsche saw this clearly. He warned that herd morality often elevates mediocrity over greatness, because the herd resents those who see too clearly, those who live too honestly. And so, in every age, societies repeat the same mistake. They crucify their prophets, exile their philosophers, and worship their demagogues. The curse of wisdom. Here's the bitter irony. Wisdom itself can be a curse. If you see too clearly, you also see the madness of the world. You see how fragile, how absurd, how self-destructive society can be. And often, this makes you hesitant, thoughtful, cautious. But the world doesn't reward caution. It rewards boldness, even reckless boldness. Plato once imagined a society ruled by philosopher kings, but even he admitted it was nearly impossible, because the true philosopher doesn't want power. He desires truth. Meanwhile, the fool craves power, and in craving it, they seize it. A story history repeats. Think of Socrates, the wisest man in Athens, condemned to death for corrupting the youth. Think of Jesus, crucified for challenging authority. Think of Bonhoeffer, hanged for resisting tyranny. Time and again, the wisest voices are silenced, while the fools live to rule another day. But this isn't just about ancient history. Look around your own life. How many times have you stayed quiet in a meeting, while someone with less knowledge but more confidence stole the spotlight? How many times have you hesitated to speak the truth, fearing ridicule or backlash, while others boldly spread lies without consequence? This isn't weakness, it's the curse of wisdom, the trap of civilization. Civilization itself seems designed to repeat this cycle. Aristotle noticed that democracies often descend into demagoguery, where the people, tired of complexity, flock to the simple slogans of the fool. Nietzsche saw that societies eventually rot from within, as comfort breeds weakness, and weakness breeds stupidity. Every empire follows the same pattern: rise through discipline and intelligence, fall through arrogance and ignorance. And what's terrifying is that we know this pattern, but we can't escape it. It's as if stupidity is not just a flaw of individuals, but a law of history. The uncomfortable truth. So here's the question. If fools rise and the wise fall, what hope is there? The uncomfortable truth is this: maybe wisdom was never meant to rule. Maybe wisdom's role is not to seize power, but to resist it, to expose it, to remind humanity of the cost of its delusions. Bonhoeffer, writing from a Nazi prison cell, knew he might never live to see freedom, but he still wrote, still resisted, because wisdom, even silenced, plants seeds that fools can never fully destroy. And maybe that's the secret. Wisdom doesn't win quickly. It doesn't dominate headlines or command armies, but it endures. It survives. It waits.
What this means for you. So what about you watching this right now? You've felt this struggle. You've wondered why you hesitate while others rush ahead. You've felt the sting of being overlooked, underestimated, unheard. And maybe you've even been tempted to play the fool, to abandon honesty, to play the game, to lie just to get ahead. But ask yourself, is that really the life you want? To win by becoming what you despise? The wise may not always rise, but they live differently. They live awake. They live honest. They live with an integrity fools can never understand. And though history may not always reward them, it remembers them. The final twist. Here's the paradox. The world belongs to fools, but meaning belongs to the wise. Power, wealth, status, these fade. Every empire falls. Every tyrant dies. But wisdom? Wisdom outlives them all. Socrates was silenced, but his words shape philosophy to this day. Bonhoeffer was executed, but his resistance still inspires millions. Even Nietzsche, often misunderstood, continues to spark debate long after his death. The fools rise faster, but the wise leave a deeper mark. Closing thought. So, the next time you feel powerless, ignored, or defeated, remember this: perhaps you were never meant to play their game. Perhaps your role is not to climb their ladder, but to see it for what it is and to refuse it. As Machiavelli knew, power corrupts. As Nietzsche knew, truth isolates. As Plato knew, the wise rarely rule. And as Bonhoeffer knew, stupidity may win battles, but it cannot win the war for the human soul. And so, the question I leave you with is this: would you rather rise quickly as a fool, or endure quietly as one who sees the truth? Because in the end, history forgets the fools, but it never forgets the wise.